What is going on, everyone? I hope you're having a great day. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the Krayt Slayer from Jawas Junkyard. This is the V2 Krayt Slayer from Jawas that has been upgraded with more space in the pommel. So from an installer standpoint, obviously, this gives us another, man, I don't know, 2 inches of space. And 2 inches might not sound like a lot to you, but for some folks, 2 inches is enough. And for installers, for installers, that means a lot, right? So for my marble, I did a Krayt Pearl reveal chassis, and the original version of this had an 18350 battery, right? That was the compromise that I had to make because we wanted to get a marble reveal chamber, right? But with this extra space, we can upgrade that chassis now to a full-size 18650 battery. Bigger battery means more runtime. Bigger is always better, trust me. So anyhow, we are going to come into Fusion, and we are going to talk about this chassis. It is the same marble reveal chamber that we had in the previous version. However, the bottom part of the chassis is just a little bit bigger. Probably no reason for me really to come into Fusion, but we are going to come in really quick and talk about it and take a look, and then we will come up top. Okay, so anyhow, let's come into Fusion. All right, so here we are. This is the new updated version of the Krayt Dragon Pearl reveal chassis for the Krayt Slayer from Jawas Junkyard and Nerfherder Customs. I'm completely neglecting to mention that this was also done in tandem with my good buddy Benji from Nerfherder Customs. He did this along with Leon from Jawas Junkyard, right? So we've got our Krayt Pearl reveal up top, and here is the new longer chassis, right? So we've got a full-size 18650 battery in here, 28mm speaker at the bottom. There is a kill switch just below the Proffie board here. We've got greebly work on each side of the chassis itself. Proffie board will fit in this tray and pull forward into these 2 forks. I do have 2 rectangular LEDs on each side of the chassis as well. All right, and here is our marble reveal, or our Krayt Dragon reveal section. All right, so given the switch position and the tolerances and the space therein, I have to mount my switches on brass. I don't always like doing this, but it's possible and it's doable, obviously, but you just have to make sure that you're isolating your switches, right? So I like to put a little tiny baby piece of Kapton tape underneath my switches just to make sure that I'm not grounding out or anything. The leads for these switches will just drape down into these 2 chambers, but just to make sure we're doing all of the necessary industry standard things, I like to isolate those switches as well, right? So I've got that Kapton tape underneath them. So 2 very shallow brass hat tactile switches here, and then the entire chassis is just held in place with a set screw around back. Okay. But that's it. All my leads, power leads, come up through these 2 conduits here. Okay, you can kind of see them up top in here. All right, and that is it. Let's come up top. All right, so here it is, the updated version of the Krayt Slayer from Jawas Junkyard and Nerfherder Customs. Awesome, awesome looking hilt. All right, my buddy Benji did a great job designing this hilt. So we've got touches of a lot of classic vintage parts hilts in this build. We've got the MPP control box here. We've obviously got the MPP upper section, all right, with the upside down Graflex shroud here as well. Just a really, really uniquely and awesome designed hilt. This particular one was weathered, very lightly weathered at the request of the customer. So I do have some scratches in the thin neck section and in the emitter, okay? The pommel was also heat stained at the request of the customer, as well as the Kobold mounting bracket. All right, so all of that was heat stained, and that's what gives it this gold look. I went a little bit heavier in the pommel section with the heat staining just to give it a little bit more contrast. But the request was to make this a little bit more golden, both of these parts a little bit more golden with heat staining, okay? But that is it. So to get at your chassis, you want to unscrew this small thumb screw here. This was also painted red at the request of the customer. That gives it that Canon Y battery cell look. Okay, so you want to unthread that, and then you can unthread your grip. Now, I do request and suggest when unthreading your grip, do it very slowly, all right? We don't want these plunger switches to get caught up on those brass hat tactile switches, so I like to do this a little bit slowly just to make sure. All right, tolerances are really, really tight in here. And then you can take your grip off. Here is the chassis. Now, this was also sent with a custom marble from Noah Drew, right? I always love seeing these in Krayt Slayer builds, any build really. They're very, very beautiful, all right? But there is that full-size chassis. Now we can get a full-size battery in here, which I think is great, all right? Spring side is your negative. This will take a button top 18650 battery. So go ahead and put your battery in that battery tray. This was already on. So there are those two lit LEDs. And then we've got our marble that is lit as well. Okay. All right. So once you got your battery in, you're ready to go. Go ahead and slide your grip back in place. Just, again, thread it on very carefully. And once that is all of the way threaded, you want to line up this hole for that red button, or red screw, red thumb screw. Screw that down and you're ready to go. Okay? This has been set up with the sound font at the request of the customer that was designed for this hilt by my dude Keenan from K-Sith and Benji. They both worked on that font. Very, very awesome sounding font. Okay. Great, great sounding hilt. All right. So let's come down to the bottom. All right. So another thing that I like about this particular build is that we do get some shine through in the grip from those LEDs as well as that marble chamber. Okay. So as far as switches are concerned, this red button will serve as your main. This silver aluminum button up top will serve as your aux. Yeah, great, great sounding hilt. Such an awesome hilt, you guys. Let's go through one more. I'm going to put a blade in this. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and put a blade in it. This will take a 7/8 inch blade, so go ahead and rest your blade on those PCB pins. This thumb screw will serve as your blade retention, so tighten that, and you are ready to go. Such a great sounding hilt. All right, let's go through a couple of the fonts. Okay, so this has been set up with color wheel on the majority of these blade styles. To access color wheel, you want to hold down aux and tap main. When you hear that audible cue, just rotate your blade until you find a color you like. Once you find a color you like, just tap main again. It will lock that color in place, okay? To simulate lockup, you want to hold down aux as you clash. It will also simulate blaster bolts by tapping aux, okay? Let's go through one more. Okay. Just a great all-around hilt, you guys. And then obviously we get some cool shine through in the grip there. Okay. All right. But that is it. That's the Krayt Slayer from Jawas Junkyard and Nerfherder Customs. Awesome, classic looking profile on this hilt. So to you, the customer, thank you very, very much for your patience. If anyone has any questions about this new updated chassis, it has been listed on my website if anyone is interested. But with that being said, thank you everyone for watching. May the force be with you always.